What if the very medications designed to protect your health were quietly stealing your memory? It sounds unsettling, but over the last 2 decades, researchers have raised serious questions about how some of the world's most commonly prescribed drugs might influence our brains. Now, before we dive in, let's be clear. This is not medical advice. The information you're about to hear is purely educational. If you're taking any of these medications, don't stop suddenly or make changes on your own. Always speak with your healthcare provider first. That said, today we're going to explore a fascinating and sometimes controversial topic: the hidden relationship between everyday medications and our cognitive functions, things like focus, concentration, and especially memory. We'll look at scientific studies, surprising findings, and the ongoing debates around drugs you may even have in your home right now. From heartburn pills to anti-anxiety medications, from cholesterol-lowering drugs to simple stimulants like caffeine, we'll uncover how they might shape the way your brain works, for better or worse. And what you'll discover might completely change the way you think about your daily prescriptions. Let's start with one of the most widely used drug categories in the world: proton pump inhibitors, often known simply as PPIs. If you've ever suffered from chronic heartburn, acid reflux, or ulcers, chances are you or someone you know has taken one. Brand names like Nexium or Prilosec have become household words. On the surface, these medications seem like lifesavers. They reduce stomach acid, they bring quick relief, and for many people, they make everyday life far more comfortable. But in recent years, scientists have started asking an unsettling question. Could these same pills be linked to problems with memory and focus? Several large-scale studies suggest a possible connection between long-term PPI use and a higher risk of cognitive decline. Now, we should note, these findings are still debated, and no one's saying that taking a heartburn pill automatically leads to memory loss. But the association is strong enough that researchers continue to investigate. So, what might be going on here? One theory is that PPIs can interfere with the body's ability to absorb certain nutrients, like vitamin B12 and magnesium. Both are crucial for brain health. Low levels of B12, for example, are well known to cause memory problems, confusion, and even neurological issues if left unchecked. Another theory is that long-term suppression of stomach acid could subtly affect the balance of gut bacteria. And as science keeps showing us, the gut and the brain are more connected than we ever imagined. For most people, short-term use of PPIs is considered safe. But for those taking them daily, year after year, the question becomes more important. Are we trading relief from heartburn for potential risks to memory? And that's just the beginning, because PPIs aren't the only common medication raising eyebrows when it comes to brain health.
If PPIs raised some eyebrows, the next category of drugs takes the concern to another level. I'm talking about benzodiazepines, a class of medications prescribed for anxiety, insomnia, and sometimes even muscle spasms. You might recognize names like Valium, Xanax, or Ativan. At first glance, these drugs feel like a miracle. They calm racing thoughts, ease panic, and help people finally get the sleep they've been craving. But here's the catch. They also interact directly with the brain's chemistry, slowing down activity to create that sense of calm. And with that comes some serious trade-offs. Researchers have long documented that benzodiazepines can impair short-term memory and learning ability. You might take one at night to fall asleep and wake up the next morning struggling to remember conversations from the day before. For some users, even forming new memories while on these medications becomes difficult. And it doesn't stop there. Long-term use has been linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline, with some studies suggesting that people who rely on these drugs for years may face an increased likelihood of developing dementia-like symptoms later in life. Now, to be fair, not every patient experiences these effects, and for many people, benzodiazepines provide real, sometimes life-saving relief. But experts emphasize that they were never meant to be long-term solutions. The longer they're used, the higher the risks. One chilling finding is something known as anterograde amnesia. In simple terms, that means difficulty forming new memories while under the influence of the drug. Imagine attending an event, meeting people, having conversations, only to realize later that huge chunks of it are gone from your memory. And yet, despite these well-known side effects, millions of prescriptions are still written every year, which raises the uncomfortable question, are we addressing one health problem only to quietly create another in the brain? But benzodiazepines are just one piece of this puzzle. There's another class of medications, often hiding in plain sight, that may be affecting memory in ways most people never realize.
Now, if benzodiazepines sound concerning, the next group of medications might surprise you even more, because they're hidden in all sorts of everyday treatments. I'm talking about anticholinergics. These drugs block a chemical in the brain called acetylcholine, which plays a crucial role in memory, learning, and attention. And here's the shocking part. You'll find anticholinergic effects not just in prescription drugs, but in some of the most common over-the-counter medications too. Think about allergy pills, cold medicines, sleep aids, or even treatments for overactive bladder. Many of them contain anticholinergic compounds. You might take them without a second thought, never realizing the potential impact on your brain. So, what does the science say? Well, multiple studies have shown that people taking strong anticholinergics, especially in higher doses or for long periods, have an increased risk of cognitive decline. In fact, one large study found a clear link between heavy use of these drugs and a higher chance of developing dementia later in life. The mechanism makes sense. When you consistently block acetylcholine, you're essentially disrupting one of the brain's most important communication systems. The result can be confusion, memory lapses, slower thinking, and trouble focusing. What makes this category especially tricky is how widespread it is. You might not even realize you're taking an anticholinergic because the drug label doesn't always make it obvious. For example, a simple nighttime cold medicine designed to help you sleep could also be quietly interfering with your memory. Doctors often warn that older adults are especially vulnerable since the brain naturally produces less acetylcholine with age. Combine that with medications that block it, and the effects can be much more dramatic. So, while these drugs can be effective and necessary for certain conditions, the takeaway is clear. Anticholinergics are everywhere, and they may be shaping your memory more than you think. But this story doesn't end here, because there's another class of medications taken by millions of people to protect their hearts that may also come with unexpected consequences for the brain.
When we think about protecting the brain, one of the first things doctors emphasize is controlling blood pressure. After all, high blood pressure is one of the biggest risk factors for stroke, dementia, and overall cognitive decline. So it might come as a surprise that some of the very medications used to manage blood pressure have also been linked to brain fog and memory issues. Not all blood pressure drugs are the same, of course. There are several categories, like beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, diuretics, and calcium channel blockers. Some patients report feeling mentally sharper on one type and more sluggish or forgetful on another. In particular, beta blockers are often noted for side effects like fatigue, slower thinking, and, in some cases, depression. The reason is, beta blockers reduce the effects of adrenaline, which helps calm the heart and lower blood pressure. Adrenaline also plays a role in alertness and memory formation. Dampen it too much, and some people begin to feel mentally dulled. On the other hand, certain antihypertensives may actually protect the brain. For example, research suggests that ACE inhibitors and ARBs might lower the long-term risk of dementia by improving blood flow and reducing inflammation. So, the relationship between these medications and cognition isn't one-sided, it's complicated. The challenge is that high blood pressure itself is far more dangerous to the brain than the side effects of these drugs. Left untreated, hypertension can silently damage blood vessels, reducing oxygen supply and leading to serious memory decline over time. So here's the paradox. The very same medications that might cause a little brain fog in the short term could also be protecting your brain in the long run. It's a delicate balance, and one reason why working closely with a doctor to find the right medication is so important. But the story doesn't end with blood pressure, because next we'll take a look at another controversial class of drugs, prescribed to millions of people to fight cholesterol, that has sparked heated debates about whether they hurt or help the brain.
Few medications spark as much debate about brain health as statins. These drugs are prescribed to tens of millions of people worldwide to lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. You've probably heard names like Lipitor or Crestor. They've become almost as common as aspirin in modern medicine cabinets. For many, statins are life-saving. They keep arteries clear, protect the heart, and significantly reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. But over the years, a growing number of patients have reported something unexpected: memory lapses, confusion, and mental fog while taking these drugs. So, what's really going on here? Some studies have indeed found a connection between statin use and short-term memory problems. In fact, the FDA has even acknowledged reports of reversible cognitive side effects linked to these medications. Patients often describe it as forgetting words mid-sentence, misplacing items, or feeling like their thinking is slower than usual. But the research isn't one-sided. Other studies suggest the opposite, that statins might actually protect the brain in the long term by reducing inflammation and improving blood flow. There's even evidence they could lower the risk of Alzheimer's in certain populations. So how do we make sense of this contradiction? One theory is that the brain relies on cholesterol for healthy nerve function, and lowering it too much might interfere with memory. Another theory is that the side effects may only affect a small group of people who are especially sensitive. What most experts agree on is this: if statins do cause memory problems, the effects are usually temporary and reversible. Stopping or switching medications often clears up the fog. But given how important these drugs are for preventing strokes and heart attacks, the benefits often outweigh the risks. Still, it raises an intriguing question. How many people quietly struggle with memory changes while on statins, never realizing the connection? And how many others might actually be benefiting without knowing it? Either way, statins are just another example of how complex the brain-medication relationship really is. And to truly understand this puzzle, we need to look not only at prescription drugs, but also at everyday stimulants that billions of people consume daily, often without a second thought.
When it comes to substances that affect the brain, sometimes the most powerful ones are also the most familiar. Take caffeine, for example, the world's most widely consumed stimulant. It's in coffee, tea, sodas, energy drinks, even chocolate. Billions of people rely on it every single day to stay alert, focused, and energized. And for good reason. In small to moderate amounts, caffeine can sharpen concentration, boost mood, and even enhance memory in the short term. That morning cup of coffee really does give your brain a temporary edge. But here's where things get tricky. At higher doses, or with overuse, caffeine can tip from friend to foe. Too much can trigger anxiety, restlessness, insomnia, and even short-term memory lapses. Studies show that while a moderate dose may help recall, excessive caffeine can actually make it harder to retain new information or focus deeply. Then there's the issue of dependence. Many people don't realize that daily caffeine use can lead to tolerance, meaning you need more and more to feel the same effect. And when you miss a dose, withdrawal hits, headaches, fatigue, irritability, and that dreaded mental fog. Of course, caffeine isn't the only stimulant in our modern world. Prescription stimulants, like those used to treat ADHD, can dramatically improve focus and attention for people who need them. But when misused, they can also lead to jitteriness, disrupted sleep, and in some cases, long-term cognitive problems. What this shows us is simple. Even something as ordinary as a cup of coffee is a reminder that the line between boosting the brain and burdening it is very thin. The key is balance. A little stimulation can enhance performance, but too much, too often, may quietly chip away at memory and focus. And that brings us to the bigger picture. Because while individual drugs and stimulants can play a role, they're only one piece of the puzzle. To truly understand how to protect memory, we need to step back and look at the lifestyle factors that shape brain health every single day.
While medications and stimulants can impact cognitive function, the most powerful tools for supporting brain health often lie in daily habits and lifestyle choices. These are the strategies that consistently build resilience and protect mental clarity over time. Physical exercise is at the top of the list. Regular movement increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support neuron health. Exercise also stimulates the production of growth factors, proteins that encourage the creation of new brain cells and strengthen existing connections. Even simple activities like walking, cycling, or swimming can yield measurable cognitive benefits. Resistance training and balance-focused exercises further enhance memory, coordination, and executive function. Mental stimulation is equally critical. Challenging your brain with novel activities builds what experts call cognitive reserve, a buffer that helps protect against age-related decline. Reading, learning new skills, solving puzzles, playing a musical instrument, or engaging in complex social interactions all strengthen neural networks. Social engagement goes hand in hand with mental stimulation. Humans are social beings, and meaningful connections offer both emotional support and cognitive challenges. Research consistently shows that loneliness and isolation are linked to faster cognitive decline, while active social participation promotes memory, attention, and overall mental agility. Nutrition fuels the brain in profound ways.
Diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats provide essential nutrients for neurotransmitter production, cell membrane integrity, and antioxidant protection. Specific dietary patterns, like the Mediterranean diet or the MIND diet, have been associated with slower cognitive decline and better memory performance in older adults. Sleep is another non-negotiable pillar. During quality sleep, the brain consolidates memories, clears metabolic waste, and performs essential maintenance. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, and both the quantity and quality matter. Poor sleep impairs attention, memory, and even the brain's ability to repair itself. So maintaining a consistent sleep routine and a comfortable environment is key. Stress management rounds out the picture. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol and inflammatory signals, which can damage neurons and interfere with memory. Effective stress reduction through meditation, yoga, deep breathing, physical activity, or social support protects both emotional well-being and cognitive function. Finally, managing underlying health conditions supports the brain in ways that medications alone cannot. Controlling diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and depression isn't just about physical health. It also protects memory, attention, and executive function. Taken together, these lifestyle factors form a comprehensive foundation for cognitive resilience. They complement any medication regimen, offset potential drug-related risks, and most importantly, empower individuals to take control of their brain health every single day.
Understanding the potential cognitive effects of medications is just one part of the puzzle. True brain health comes from integrating medical treatment with lifestyle strategies to create a balanced, proactive approach. The first step in this integration is regular medication review. Working closely with your healthcare team ensures that each prescription continues to serve your health goals without unnecessarily impacting cognitive function. Bring a complete list of all medications, including over-the-counter products, vitamins, and supplements. Discuss the reasons for each medication, potential side effects, and whether alternatives exist with lower cognitive risks. Open communication is crucial. Share any observations about changes in memory, focus, or mental clarity, including when they started and how they affect daily life. This allows your healthcare providers to identify potential medication-related causes and make informed adjustments. Simple changes, such as timing doses differently, switching medications, or reducing cumulative exposure, can sometimes make a significant difference without compromising overall treatment effectiveness. Lifestyle choices amplify the benefits of medical interventions. Physical exercise, for instance, enhances cerebral blood flow, supports neuroplasticity, and may offset some cognitive effects of medications. Mental stimulation through reading, puzzles, or learning new skills strengthens neural networks, building resilience against both aging and potential medication-related cognitive changes. Nutrition is another key factor. Medications that interfere with nutrient absorption, such as proton pump inhibitors affecting vitamin B12, highlight the need for a nutrient-rich diet or targeted supplementation under medical guidance. Diets like the Mediterranean or MIND plan provide antioxidants, healthy fats, and essential vitamins that support brain function and help counteract possible medication effects. Quality sleep cannot be overlooked. Medications may impact sleep patterns, while sleep itself is critical for memory consolidation, detoxification, and brain repair. Prioritizing consistent sleep schedules,
reducing stimulants like caffeine late in the day, and creating a relaxing bedtime routine enhances cognitive performance and overall well-being. Stress management serves as the glue that binds this approach together. Chronic stress exacerbates cognitive decline and can worsen medication side effects. Techniques like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, and regular physical activity promote mental resilience, supporting both brain health and emotional well-being. Ultimately, the integration of medications and lifestyle factors is a dynamic, individualized process. Each person's medical conditions, cognitive goals, and lifestyle circumstances are unique. By combining careful medication management with exercise, mental engagement, nutrition, sleep, and stress reduction, you can maximize cognitive function while maintaining effective treatment of underlying health conditions. This holistic approach empowers you to take an active role in your health, fostering both physical wellness and mental sharpness as you age. It's about balance, informed decision-making, and proactive care, ensuring that you treat medical conditions effectively without sacrificing long-term brain health.
Supporting cognitive health while managing medications requires active monitoring and advocacy. This section focuses on practical steps you can take to track changes, communicate effectively with your healthcare team, and make informed decisions. Regular cognitive monitoring is essential. You don't need formal testing to start. Simply pay attention to your memory, attention, and daily mental performance. Keep a journal of any changes you notice, including when they occur, how severe they are, and whether they correlate with specific medications, lifestyle factors, or stressful events. Recording patterns helps your healthcare provider pinpoint potential causes and tailor interventions effectively. Be proactive during medical appointments. Come prepared with questions about every medication you take, including over-the-counter products and supplements. Ask about potential cognitive effects, alternatives, or adjustments to minimize risks. Bring your observations of cognitive changes so your healthcare provider can see a clear picture of your experiences. Communicate openly and honestly. Share any concerns about memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, or confusion. Don't downplay symptoms. Even subtle changes matter. Clear communication allows your healthcare team to weigh benefits and risks accurately and may lead to strategies that improve both your treatment and cognitive function. Involve family members or trusted friends in medical discussions when appropriate. They may notice cognitive changes you haven't and can provide important context that helps your provider understand the bigger picture. This is especially valuable for older adults or anyone managing multiple medications. Track your medical history and medication changes. Maintaining a detailed record of prescriptions, dose adjustments, lab results, and consultations allows for continuity of care and makes it easier to identify correlations between medications and cognitive changes. This record also empowers you to ask informed questions about future treatment decisions. Seek second opinions when necessary. If you feel your concerns are not being addressed, it is your right to consult another healthcare provider. Different perspectives can provide insights into safer or more effective treatment strategies. Digital tools can support cognitive monitoring. Apps and wearable devices can track sleep, mood, activity levels, and cognitive performance. Sharing this data with your healthcare provider can enable timely interventions and adjustments to your medications or lifestyle plans. Advocacy is an ongoing process.
Stay informed about new research on medications and cognitive health, and engage in conversations with your healthcare team about emerging strategies or safer alternatives. Patient advocacy and education play a powerful role in ensuring that your cognitive health is considered alongside treatment of medical conditions. Ultimately, monitoring and advocacy create a partnership with your healthcare team. By tracking cognitive changes, communicating openly, involving supportive family or friends, and staying informed, you ensure that your medications serve your health goals without compromising brain function. This proactive approach empowers you to take control of your cognitive health while receiving the medical treatment you need, ensuring that your overall well-being and quality of life remain the top priorities.
As research progresses, the future of medication management is moving toward more personalized approaches that prioritize both physical and cognitive health. Advances in science, technology, and patient-centered care are opening new possibilities for minimizing cognitive risks while maximizing treatment benefits. One exciting field is pharmacogenomics, the study of how individual genetic differences influence responses to medications. In the future, genetic testing may allow healthcare providers to predict which patients are more likely to experience cognitive side effects from certain medications. This information could guide prescription choices, dosages, and alternative treatments tailored specifically to each patient's genetic profile. Brain imaging and biomarker research are also evolving rapidly. Advanced imaging techniques and blood-based biomarkers may soon allow healthcare providers to detect subtle cognitive changes early, before noticeable symptoms appear. Early detection could enable timely interventions, such as adjusting medications or implementing lifestyle strategies to protect cognitive function. The development of new medications with improved safety profiles continues to advance. Pharmaceutical companies are increasingly aware of cognitive side effects and are designing drugs that maintain therapeutic benefits while minimizing risks to the brain. This includes innovations like modified drug delivery systems, combination therapies, and protective agents that help safeguard cognitive function. Population health approaches are improving our understanding of medication effects across diverse patient populations. With electronic health records and large-scale data analysis, researchers can identify patterns of cognitive risk that might not appear in smaller clinical trials. This real-world evidence supports safer prescribing practices and more informed patient care. Digital health tools are revolutionizing how patients monitor their cognitive function and medication effects. Apps, wearable devices, and online platforms can track mood, memory, sleep, and alertness in real time, providing actionable insights to both patients and providers. These tools enhance shared decision-making, allowing adjustments to treatments based on actual experiences rather than trial and error. Non-pharmacological interventions are also expanding treatment options. For some conditions, therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, physical activity, dietary modifications, and mindfulness practices may reduce reliance on medications with cognitive risks. Integrating these approaches alongside medication can create a balanced strategy for long-term brain health. Education and advocacy remain central to the future of cognitive health. Informed patients drive better outcomes. As awareness of medication-related cognitive effects grows, healthcare providers are increasingly prioritizing discussions about risks, benefits, and alternatives. Patients who actively engage in these conversations are better equipped to make choices that support both their physical and cognitive well-being.
In summary, the future of medication and cognitive health is moving toward personalization, early detection, safer drugs, digital monitoring, and integrated lifestyle strategies. By staying informed and actively participating in your healthcare decisions, you can benefit from these advances while continuing to protect your cognitive function. The goal is clear: maintaining optimal brain health while effectively treating medical conditions, ensuring both quality of life and independence as you age.
As we wrap up this discussion on medications and cognitive health, it's important to remember one core principle. Knowledge is power. Understanding how medications can impact your brain allows you to make informed choices, ask the right questions, and actively participate in your healthcare. First, never stop or change your medications without consulting your healthcare provider. Abrupt discontinuation can be dangerous, sometimes causing serious complications. Always work with your healthcare team to review your medications regularly, discuss concerns, and explore alternatives if needed. Second, track and communicate any cognitive changes. Keep notes about memory lapses, confusion, attention difficulties, or other shifts in thinking. Share these observations with your provider, along with a complete list of all medications, supplements, and over-the-counter products you're using. This detailed information can help identify potential medication-related effects. Third, prioritize lifestyle strategies that support cognitive health. These include physical exercise, aerobic and resistance training, along with activities that challenge balance and coordination, mental stimulation, learning new skills, solving puzzles, reading or engaging in complex social activities, social engagement, maintaining meaningful relationships and avoiding isolation, nutrition, following diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats such as the Mediterranean or MIND diets. Quality sleep, practicing good sleep hygiene, addressing sleep disorders, and maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. Stress management, meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, and maintaining strong social support networks. Fourth, consider regular cognitive monitoring. This doesn't always require formal testing, but staying aware of your cognitive function and addressing concerns early can make a significant difference. Your healthcare provider may also use brief cognitive screening tools during routine visits. Fifth, embrace open communication and shared decision-making. Prepare for medical appointments with specific questions and concerns. Discuss potential cognitive side effects, alternative treatments, and strategies for minimizing risks while effectively managing your health conditions. Involving family members or trusted friends can help ensure important details are communicated clearly. Finally, balance treatment and prevention. Treating underlying medical conditions is often essential for overall health and can actually protect cognitive function. By combining informed medication use with lifestyle strategies, early detection, and proactive healthcare, you can maintain both physical and cognitive vitality as you age. Remember, the goal is not to fear medications, but to use them wisely as part of a comprehensive approach to healthy aging. By staying informed, engaging with your healthcare team, and supporting your brain through lifestyle choices, you can optimize both your health and cognitive function throughout life. Medical disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always consult with qualified healthcare professionals before making any changes to your medications or treatment plans. Individual medical situations vary significantly, and treatment decisions should always be made in consultation with providers who understand your complete medical history and current health status.
Thank you for watching and taking the time to learn about medications and cognitive health. Remember, staying informed and proactive about your health is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. We'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, or questions in the comments below. Your insights help create a supportive community where we can all learn from each other. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and follow us so you never miss future episodes filled with valuable health tips and educational insights. Take care of your body, nurture your mind, and keep making informed choices for a healthier, smarter life.